The international break has come to an end, and Blues travel to Stoke. Tough one. Stoke currently third in the table, as you can see. 3 wins and 1 loss from their 4 games. Blues lost their latest one to Leicester, 2-0. We've had some tough fixtures. 7 points from our first 4 is not bad, considering we've played Ipswich and Leicester, obviously 2 of the Premier League teams that came down. I think we've done all right. Obviously, we should have won the Ipswich game. Probably lucky in the Blackburn one. Not very creative against Oxford, but we controlled it despite the lack of creativity. And then, Leicester was just, again, no creativity, and they had a couple of moments of good creativity. But it's been a decent start. I think the international break came at a good time with the Stansfield injury, with quite a few new players having to integrate into the squad and into the country, really. Obviously, Fujimoto we signed early in the window, but didn't really have much match time, so he was someone who needed to get some fitness, get some training in, and he'll probably be better now and ready to go. Same as Dutch, he's the main one for me. Very, very good striker, brilliant record in the Bundesliga with Werder Bremen, so he is a player who I think is really going to come to life for us, and hopefully he can play a pivotal role. Now, injury news for Blues: Stansfield isn't going to be starting, I believe. He has been in training, it's touch and go. I can't see him starting. However, I do think he will be on the bench, which is good to have him there in case we need to go and do something. I know that happened against Port Vale. We were struggling. We needed someone to make an impact. Stansfield came on and got injured. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope we don't have to see him play, to be honest, because it's probably better that he recovers. But he might have to feature. He probably will, because we don't tend to blow teams away. We don't really go for the jugular. We just kind of score one and sit on it. Seems to be the tactic. I'm just hoping we can be a bit more creative than we have previously, because it's been quite poor. We've played our last 3 games against Port Vale in the Cup, Oxford in the league, and Leicester in the league, and we've had 1 shot on target across the 3 games. That's not good enough for a side that are supposedly aiming for playoffs. But I'm sure the creativity will come when players get more minutes. There's a lot of new players here, so they need to gel. And I think, like I said, we have had a tough start to the season with Ipswich and Leicester in our first 4. Let's have a look at Stoke, because Stoke are interesting. They're a side that tend to be near the bottom of the league, to be honest. Most seasons they're around 16th or lower. But they've had a good start here. 8 scored, 3 conceded in their first 4. And we look at their fixtures on the left-hand side. So, opener against Derby, they won 3-1, so a few goals there, but I think it was 1-1, and then Dion Sanderson came on, and then Stoke scored the last 2. Sheffield Wednesday, they beat 3-0. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday have lots of issues, so I'm not surprised that they won that game, but it was quite convincing the way they did it. And then they beat Southampton 2-1 away and had a man sent off. That was a very good result for Stoke. They lost in the Cup, but again, the Cup's kind of touch and go. You can't really judge a team based on early Cup rounds. And then they lost 1-0 to West Brom, who have had a brilliant start to the season as well. West Brom look very handy. Stoke, I think they've performed pretty well so far. I think this will be a tough game. If we take a quick look at the head-to-head between us, they have won 2 of the last 10. We've won 4, and there's been 4 draws. And I think that's pretty accurate. That's correct, but I think it's pretty accurate for this game. I think a draw is quite likely, but if someone is to edge it, if I had to give a win to someone, I'd go for Blues to win it. I wouldn't be surprised by a 1-1 draw, however. Now, if we look at the statistics between us, so they're higher performers, mainly all midfielders. Millian Manhoof, Manhoof, Sorba Thomas, Lewis Baker, all above a 7. Ben Wilmot as a defender in the 7s as well. Now, I know, again, using a statistical app that rates players isn't necessarily accurate. These are the standout players according to SofaScore, and yeah, midfielders, pretty good. From a obviously goal score perspective, they have been strong, and they've conceded less than us as well. They've kept the same amount of clean sheets. I think they've been quite a bit more creative than we have, and that's the one thing that's been lacking for us: creativity. However, score prediction. Now, I am going to go down the middle just because our away performances last season weren't amazing. Again, we didn't tend to blow teams away, but we did look like we could be beaten away from home. Now, the one thing that goes in our favour away is that at St Andrews, people are just going to let us have the ball, and then we've got to break teams down. I'm hoping that away from home, teams actually try and play, because it gives us space, and they're the sort of spaces that Kyogo will exploit, Stansfield will exploit, our wingers will exploit. You know, we've got Patrick Roberts now along with Damari Gray, and if these players can get in behind these high lines, or you know, when the midfield pushes up, it leaves a gap between the midfield and the defence. If our attackers can get into those spaces, which we don't get when we've got the ball, then it could help us out going forward. And I think they're the sort of areas we want to be in. So I'm going to go as my prediction for a 1-1. As I said, if I had to choose a winner, I would go for Blues. But 1-1 for me. Let me know your predictions down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.